Sweet Jesus, I would kill for a fucking Philly cheesesteak right about now. Swear to God. Good morning, metalheads of the internet, and welcome to a new episode of the Metal Meltdown. Just a quick little warning before we go any further. My mental health as of late has been somewhat compromised, shall we say? I mean, unfortunately, on some level, it shouldn't be that shocking. It's been 2.5 months of quarantine, and the only people I've seen in that time are the mailman and the staff at the local Asian grocery store. But nonetheless, here we are. Sucks. So if you're watching this video or a few others in the future and you're saying, wow, Robert seems kind of lethargic, he seems kind of out of it, he seems kind of erratic, that's why. If I don't look great, it's because, frankly, I ain't doing so fucking great. But I'm still here, partially because I have literally nothing else to do, but nonetheless. And since I'm still here, we're going to talk about this new album from Alestorm entitled Curse of the Crystal Coconut, which, full disclosure, did not necessarily help me feel much better in this particular time, despite its best intentions and efforts. Of all of the trends and arguable gimmicks to have popped up in metal over the last decade, Alestorm's brand of pirate metal is the one I did not expect to last as long as it has. Their over-the-top power metal, folk metal, sea shanty fusion sound, complete with a stage show that includes rubber ducks and cannonballs, is so ridiculous that you yourself would have to be a drunken pirate in order to fully appreciate this. Not that it can't be inherently somewhat fun in a party setting or in small doses, but it's hardly the kind of music I'm really going to sit down with a fine glass of brandy and really soak in and absorb. And even if, purely theoretical, you could do that, it has become far more complicated and difficult to do that with the passing of time, as Alestorm has only grown to be more ridiculous, more insane, more over the top as they've continued to grow. All that now bringing us to Curse of the Crystal Coconut, the band's 6th studio album. And if I can be blunt with y'all right off the bat, this is hands down the silliest thing that Alestorm has ever produced. I'd go as far as to say it's one of the silliest things that any metal band has produced in recent memory. On top of, and even enhancing, Alestorm's typical swashbuckling buffoonery, we have songs like Zombies Ate My Pirate Ship, which is about a zombie invasion happening on a pirate ship. And we have a song like Wooden Leg Part 2, which is like an 8-minute proggy power metal, folk metal epic about a wooden leg. You have a song like Tortuga, which awkwardly and abruptly implements a very aggressive gangster rap hip-hop beat, almost sounding like the long-lost freak child of NWA, very early Body Count, and the Lonely Island's Captain Jack Sparrow video. And if that somehow weren't enough, if you pick up the deluxe version of this record, you're even treated to an entirely different version of Curse of the Crystal Coconut, which features chiptune renditions of every single song on the regular studio release. And this is all without mentioning the very blatant fact that the title of the album itself is pulled directly from Donkey Kong 64, something that the band have been so not subtle about as of late that they have gone as far as to give away custom Nintendo 64s with signed copies of Donkey Kong 64. As far as I'm concerned, there's not a single thing on this record that could be described as normal in this lifetime or the next. And while I don't expect Alestorm to make more normal, more conventional, more serious records in the future, especially not past this point, I will nonetheless recommend it because Curse of the Crystal Coconut is officially the point where Alestorm's typical antics have become so irritating, so obnoxious, for me at least. I mean, we get it. You love pirates. We get it. You love to drink. We get it. Zombies, synthesizers, guitars, accordions, sea shanties. We fucking get it. You're silly and you're weird. But can you just tone it down a little bit? Is that really too much to ask? I mean, holy shit, guys, this is album number 6, and the only thing you've really changed about your sound is that you've gotten louder and stupider with time. It's just so overwhelming and at times genuinely unnecessary. It's like the sonic equivalent to like a classic dessert that some fine dining restaurant has reinterpreted, and now it has way too many components, way too many extra ingredients, and it's far too sweet for its own good. You lose the taste of what it's actually supposed to be. Just absolutely buried in sugar, butter, cream, and frosting. And unfortunately, once you scrape away so much of this unnecessary glossy candy coating, you will learn very quickly that Alestorm don't really have much else going for them, because they've never really bothered at any point in the last decade to really evolve or refine their sound. I mean, the very skeleton of this record really isn't any different from any previous Alestorm record. You know, it's 4-chord party rock songs with big hooks, guitars, and an unhealthy obsession with Pirates of the Caribbean, consistently across 6 albums. Look, there's nothing wrong with wanting to party, folks, especially not in these bleak, dystopian, almost Orwellian times that we are living in. But going to Curse of the Crystal Coconut feels like revisiting the same party over and over and over again. Maybe it was fun the first time, you had some laughs, you had some drinks, you had some nice pizza, you met some cool people, but now it's like, shit, this party's still going on? Like, guys, it is 4 in the morning, and if that alone doesn't get this party shut down, then I promise you the strippers riding giant rubber ducks and shooting guns into the air definitely will. I'm honestly going to give this album a 1.5 out of 5. I would genuinely love to be more enthusiastic and positive towards it. I mean, it's hardly an offensive record, and these guys clearly sound like they're having the time of their fucking lives, and good on them, honestly. Nothing personal, I promise you. But I've just become so tired of this sound, of this theme, of the identity of Alestorm. I am tired of scraping away all of the unnecessary frosting, and I'm tired of doing that only to find that the cake itself lacks flavor and substance. I would much rather at this point just have an honest, delicious, homemade piece of cake. I don't need it to be 20 feet tall. I don't need it to have 10 different kinds of frostings. I don't need an exotic dancer to pop out of it. I just want some cake. I imagine that Alestorm's regular fan base will be elated with this record, and honestly, more fucking power to you. You are the demographic for this record. I promise you, I'm not going to cry myself to sleep at night because y'all love this thing. But to everyone else out there, if there is not a single part of this record that I have described that you find appealing, honestly, don't bother. Because I promise you, you do not have to look far to find a far more substantial and fulfilling experience, even from the incredibly narrow and small world of pirate metal. 1.5 out of 5. Yeah, I just don't really like this record. Not one bit. And that is it for the Metal Meltdown. I'm not an expert, nor do I claim to be. So what do you think? Do you like this record? Do you not like this record? And what do you want to hear from me next? Thank you for watching. Thank you for putting up with my buffoonery. If you liked what you saw here today and you aren't subscribed, press this little button right here to get subscribed. And as always, you have yourself a fantastic fucking day. Ah. Fucking hell.